Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another manga review. And today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest Volume 5 from Hiro Mashima and Atsuo Ueda. So last time we had the beginning of the Battle of Fairy Tail 2.0 because Toka the White Mage had taken control of every guild member plus Jalal, but minus Team Natsu and Juvia. And we had some pretty cool matchups with Natsu going up against Gajiel, Urza against Jalal, Lucy and her Celestial Spirits against the Strauss family, which we got to see Lucy's new Stardress Nyx form, and holy crap, man, what a beauty Lucy is. She looks like an angel with the Leo and Virgo transformation. I love her. But anyway, we also had Gray and Juvia versus the Thunder God tribe, and we met two new members of Diabolos, Nabora and Reyes, who you see Reyes on the cover right there. He's the Spirit Dragon. And Toka's main objective here is to destroy the 5 orbs residing in all 5 cities on Alderaan's back. And she was able to destroy one of them. So we got the cliffhanger ending where Natsu's soul was absorbed by Reyes, which he's holding right there on the cover. And you see Natsu with Zeref and Mavis. Lots of good stuff there. Lots of great callbacks in this volume. But we have that. And also we had Jalal, Urza, Laxus, and Kyria all around one of the orbs. And you see on the cover, Laxus is going to fight Urza. Okay, so let's get right to it. It starts right here with Reyes holding Natsu's soul and Happy looking on like, "No, Natsu, where are you? You gotta wake up. He's already dead and gone." And then it cuts over here to Natsu's thoughts. And he's hanging out in the clouds like, "Oh, it's so fluffy, but where the hell am I? What's going on?" And we see this shadow right there fighting a ghost. "It's been a long time, Natsu." And we see his brother, Zeref. So Natsu's like, "Where the hell am I? Am I in hell?" And Zeref, "You might be in heaven." "Well, you're here, so it can't be heaven." And Natsu's contemplating, "Well, Zeref's dead, so am I dead? What's going on here?" And as Natsu's thinking, we see some footsteps, and Mavis appears. "Oh, First Master, you're alive after all." And she's like, "Well, no, I'm quite dead." And Zeref, "Get your hands off my wife." And Natsu's looking on like, "What do you mean, wife?" And we see young August and Larcade. "Oh my god, look at this." And, "Hello, good sir. A pleasure to meet you, Uncle Natsu." And then Natsu's face, "What? They have kids? What's the meaning of this?" So Natsu's able to have a heart-to-heart with his bro. Like, we get these awesome scenes with Mavis and her 2 children. And then Natsu sitting with his brother, like, thinking about what happened in the past and how, really, I mean, Zeref was the villain, right? But in the end, he kind of atoned for his sins. And at the start, like, if you watch Fairy Tail Zero and read Fairy Tail Zero, you know Zeref meant well. He really did. But he went down a dark path and, of course, ended up being the villain. And he explains to Natsu, this is the spiritual heaven, also known as Beta Heaven. I kind of would think of it as like purgatory, but okay, it's spiritual heaven. And you have that. We also see the appearance of Igneo, and Natsu's like, "Igneo, what are you doing here?" He starts almost crying. And it's like, "No, it's just your thoughts of, you know, the people deep in your hearts of who you have feelings for." And he's like, "Oh, Atlas Flame is over there, Zirconis too, Lucy's parents and your comrades who fell in battle." And it's like, dude, it's the chick from Phoenix Priestess, the movie. That's so awesome that they made that canon in the manga. So, and then Lucy's parents, I love it. And look at the 2 dragons, Zirconis and Atlas Flame. "You're such a kind boy, Natsu. That's your strength. So you must persevere and keep living." And he says goodbye to his brother and all his other friends. So, that's it. And Natsu is able to take form in the soul and starts biting Reyes. And he's like, "Come on, this soul ain't for eating. No, I'm still alive." And he goes back into his body as a thought projection. And Reyes is like, how the hell did he snap out of it? But that's our Natsu. I love this chapter cover too, with Natsu around the cauldron as a warlock. So he's fighting. Happy's all confused, like, "No, what's going on?" And Reyes takes control of Happy now. So Natsu punches his friend, and Reyes' soul swaps out of him. And Happy's like, "Who hit me? Who punched my face?" "I'm sorry, Happy, but I just had to." So he's fighting him, and Reyes is like, "How the hell is he this strong? He's almost as strong as Mad Bull, the armor dragon." Which, yeah, didn't Natsu fight Mad Mole early on? So he's racing for a good host, and Natsu's chasing after him. And he comes across Makarov. The synchro rate is spectacular, he says. So, they mentioned before, Makarov can't use his legs anymore after the Alvarez arc, right? Because he almost died. But now that Reyes controls him, he can walk again. So, Makarov is going to face off against Natsu. It cuts back to Elfin and Mira Jane getting their asses kicked by Scullion and Mad Mole. The sexual tension in these scenes of Lasana and Lucy. Oh my goodness. But Lucy transforms, uses her Capricorn form with the sunglasses, which that's also a callback to the movie, to Dragon Cry. Right? She's like, oh, your spell doesn't work if our eyes are covered. So cool. So nice callback there as well. They're making the movies canon now. I love it. So anyway, back over here, Kyria got her ass kicked in battle against Loxus, and she says, I love it. She loves getting beat up by Loxus. And what the hell is going on here? We have Toby, who can't find any toilet paper, but it's right there. If you just look, bro. If you just look. But yeah, back over to Wendy now, who's fighting off against Nabarro, who he calls her Cuckoo, and she's getting all upset. My name's Wendy, it's not Cuckoo. I'll get you. So she's fighting against that guy. He's got the orb. He breaks it. So what's that? 2 orbs destroyed now? That's not good. And it cuts back to Tokas. Oh, three are left. And Alderaan slowly waking up or losing his power, one or the other. So now, Kyria gets back up, ready to fight against Loxus again. And back over here to Urza. So they had like the seduction going on in the last volume, and Jalal's doing the same thing, right? Which again, how are they being controlled by Toka when they have like their own desires? At least that's the vibe I'm getting here. But Urza does the same thing. She breaks free, she strips, she ties up Jalal, and again, look, that's cool, Urza. I can handle whatever your kink is. Let's get started. Again, because he kept going on, I'm going to dye you whites with his sexual innuendos. But anyway, so yeah, Reyes is controlling Makarov. And he's wondering, like, who this old man is, because there's 3 different factors for synchronizing. And one of it has to do with being a blood relative, which, well, we'll keep reading. So yeah, Natsu's getting all pissed off because the old man is more powerful than he's ever been. You know, he's been wheelchair bound for a while now, so he's doing that. So Natsu decides he's going to do his full power, Fire Dragon King's Demolishing Strike. And we get a flashback here to young Makarov and young members of the guild, including Yajima, Goldmine, Bob from Blue Pegasus, Rob, that was the guy who helped Urza during the Tower of Heaven arc, Makarov, and look at poor Yuska. She was pretty cute back in the day. We only ever saw her as an old lady, as the medical advisor, but you know, she was something. And they kind of make jokes like the 2 of them are a thing, which, you know, they never really talked about Makarov's wife. I mean, he does have Ivan, his son, which we haven't even heard about Ivan since the end of the Grand Magic Games, and he has Loxus. But yeah, it turns out there's an injured man coming back to Fairy Tail. And it turns out to be Wraith, who was one of his guildmates. So that's why there was a strong connection between, you know, Wraith going into Makarov's body. Because in Fairy Tail, everyone's family, no matter what your past is. So if that Wraith gets out of Makarov's body and admits defeat, and says, I can't be hostile to you anymore because of what that man did for me way back when I was in the guild. So, you know, I must go. And he disappears. And right before he does, Makarov wakes up and says, Wraith, there's a face I've not seen in a long time. Good to see you again too, Makarov. So that was sweet. There's Minerva. So anyway, now we cut back over here to Kana, who's been drinking away, can't even walk, the poor girl. And she's ready to use Fairy Glitter, which is this really powerful attack. And they're like, well, if you're crazy, you're going to destroy the whole town. And then Lucy shows up in the nick of time using Aries. What does she call it? Her, where is it? Yeah, the Fluffy Wuffy attack. And because of Plu's keen scent, he could find where you guys were. So there's Plu. And with that, Lucy says, all right, we're going to use Kana's magic cards to seal everyone away so we can revert them back to normal. And we get this cute wink from her, my girl. And in doing so, Lucy traps herself in the card. And they're like, Kana, what are you doing? Lucy's right. But it turns out Kana was never even under Toka's spell because she had so much to drink, the spell never took effect. So she's there to join the group. And again, I continue to question, like, what the hell is going on with Toka's magic? You know, it didn't affect Kana because she was too drunk, which she's always drunk. And the others, we've seen them, they already have their past memories and stuff. So how under control are they really? But anyway, we get a sweet embrace of Lucy and Kana, and it's like, oh, you're back, Kana. Back over here to Kiria and Loxus, which Kiria is like fallen in love with Loxus. And she tries to slice him away and says, ha, I've cut your strength. Strength? I ain't got any. And what? What do you mean? The whole reason I'm in the guild is because even though I'm so weak, it doesn't seem to bother anyone. And he's trying to be modest. Like, we all know it. He's probably the next strongest behind guild arts. But he does this powerful roaring thunder attack. And knocks her out. And again, I love this too of Kiria. A man with incomparable strength who sincerely believes he's a weakling. I think I might be in love. Oh, Kiria. Anyway, Wendy still hasn't broken free from her cocoon with the spider webs. So she's running away. Naboora's following her because he wants to eat her because she's a dragon, of course. I must get power. Cuckoo, cuckoo. And we have the others with Kana, adding them to her collection. She's like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist now, getting all these cards. Remember when Kana was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! During that filler arc? But yeah, Kiria gets her ass kicked by Loxus. There's not a scratch on him. And he's ready to destroy this orb when all of a sudden, Urza shows up. And she's looking at the aftermath of how easily Kiria is defeated. You see all the bruises on her and not a scratch on Loxus. And she's like, wow, I had a tough time challenging Kiria last time. So how am I going to stand up against Loxus? But no matter. I must stop him at all costs. So she gets in this awesome armor right there. We get, again, more reference of where the characters are. The map of Alderaan. And Natsu decides he's going to go to the one in the middle. Because that's where he thinks the strongest is. And Jalal is still there. He's like, how long must I wait? Come on, Urza. Jalal, what are you doing, man? So he goes in there. He sees Toka is asleep. And is trying to wake her up when all of a sudden, save me. And back over to Lucy and the rest of them, planning their next attack. Right? And they're talking about Toka, right? Because when Toka first joined the guild, she wanted to meet Natsu-sama. So they're like, right here, let's see. And that's not all. I think she's got the hots for Natsu. And Lucy, oh, huh? That's not the white mage, it's her Toka personality. Ooh, better not let her get to him first. I don't care about rivals in love. Oh, what, for Natsu? The only thing I feel sorry for is whoever's interested in him. Oh, come on, Lucy, why are you saying that? You're the one who's interested in him. But anyway, Toka wakes up and sees Natsu, but then sees Happy the cat. You know, she's like, no, my Natsu-sama, then sees Happy. And then is like, oh, Natsu-sama thinks that Happy is Natsu. It's like, what? And Natsu's looking at her like, you're crazy. So we get a flashback of these ruffians who had this barrel that Toka was trapped in. And she saw Happy and Natsu come save her. And she thinks it was Happy who saved the day. And Natsu was Happy's dragon because, you know, he breathes fire and whatnot. And they're asking for a name. And Happy says Natsu. So she thinks that Happy's name is Natsu, and ever since then, she's been in love with Natsu-sama, referring to Happy. So he's like, well, I'm Natsu, he's Happy. Oh, Happy-sama, my Prince Charming, oh! And then we saw this early too, in early volumes. She has a tail, and says, I can return to my true form. And Toka is an Exceed. What? She's a cat too? And Happy's feeling really conflicted here now because he likes Carla. But now he has Toka, who's falling head over heels for him. And again, Natsu's face. She was a cat all along? That was a pretty good twist. I will give it that. So yeah, the white mage persona is the human form, and Toka is really the Exceed, the cat. So we get this awesome battle with Urza versus Loxus. And she's able to use this new ability, Dragon Slayer Seal Release, True Scarlet Sakura, where she infuses dragon slaying in her blade. And look at this shot of Urza, man. She's like Lara Croft there. My goodness. What a hottie. So anyway, Loxus has a trick up his sleeve as well, where he starts charging his energy. Red Lightning Dragon Mode! That's where you get this cover right here for like the red aura. So, he's obviously more powerful than Urza. And starts beating the crap out of her, going all over the place. And she's really no match for him, but is able to get behind him there for an attack. And he like blocks the sword of his arm. Holy crap, man. So what Urza decides to do, you see she's like channeling energy in the blade, and then it cuts back over to Kiria, like, oh, that guild must be a rough place. They're both beating the shit out of each other. Like you see all the scars on their bodies. And you saw she was channeling the blade right there and separates it into two. So she says she learned this from Wendy and enchants the blades with Natsu and Gray's powers. The fire dragon's flames meet the ice demon's chill. Which, this goes back to last fight. They like mistranslate that a few times. Sometimes they refer to Gray as the ice devil and sometimes the ice demon. So, I don't know. I guess it works both ways. But yeah, she's slicing him. Gets like 2 cuts in on him. Like he's bleeding all over the place. But he still gets back up. Like he cracks his neck. Like, I'm good. I'll keep fighting you. He shocks her. How long are you going to hold back, Urza? And here's a flashback to young Urza and Loxus. Remember when you see where his headphones? And Kiria, because she had already, well, she fought Loxus too, but she fought Urza and made Urza her pet. And she's looking on in awe, like, whoa, were they holding back before? What's the meaning of this? And now Urza re-equips into all different forms to Heaven's Wheel. They're going at each other, huffing and puffing. And Urza falls down. And Kiria's like, she's smiling? What's the meaning of that? What's so funny, Urza? I admit defeat. Why are you grinning? Because I'm happy. When we set out on this 100 years quest, I was afraid the guild would be left undefended. But now that I know how strong you are, Loxus, I see I had nothing to worry about. I see why Natsu admires you so much. That's why I'm smiling, because that strength of yours is such a relief. Which again, I'm going to keep repeating myself, but how are they under control of Toka if like Natsu, or not Natsu, if Loxus is able to understand this reason here? Like, I don't understand. So like, why the fuck are they even fighting each other? The fights are cool, yes, but in a certain sense, the plot doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And so she passes out, and then Loxus just sits there, and it's like, I'm out of magic. And now Kiria's like, see, I've won. They both defeat each other. Now I can claim the spoils. And she's ready to destroy the... Well, she does destroy the orb. Yeah. Right there, it breaks. So again, it cuts back to Alderaan, who, as each orb is being destroyed, more shit's going on. You see like veins in his neck now. And Wendy can tell. Toka here says the 3rd orb has been destroyed, so there's only 2 left. What do we do? And... yeah. So there you go. And now Toka turns back into the White Mage. Takes back control. And we get to be continued. So there you go. And here's the little side story about Wendy being afraid of bugs. Right? And she's fighting a spider. And then Urza shows up in her pajamas, like, I'll get that bug for you, don't worry. And has a newspaper trying to swat it. But can't do it. So she re-equips into her armor and destroys the whole building. Are you insane, Urza? That bug was no match for me. Crazy lady. Yeah, I really did enjoy this volume. Particularly, really everything about it. My one problem has been the inconsistency with the control that Toka has on the guild members. Because obviously, they have free will of thinking. Maybe they just can't control it. I don't fucking know. Maybe someone can explain that in the comments. But I loved this whole callback with Zareth, August in Arcade, Mavis. So sweet to see them. And, you know, Wendy in her cocoon running around. Urza in the battle against Loxus. Kyria. Even this with Makarov having a connection to that guy, Rafe Reyes. And seeing like the younger version of the characters like Porluska, Master Bob, Rob, Goldmine, and Yajima. Some really good stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be your thoughts in the comments down below. And stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Everyone have a great day. Peace out.